Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel today. Today we're going to be diving into a story that's going to light a fire, hopefully, under every RVer out there. Imagine spending your hard-earned money on what should be the RV of your dreams, only to be, to be lied to be beaten down and outright manipulated by a dealer who just wants your cash and then they want you to disappear. Sound familiar? Well, you're not alone, and this story will make your blood boil. Greg's nightmare began at an RV show, and thanks to Camping World, it has spiraled into one of the most frustrating experiences imaginable. If you've ever felt like dealers are getting away with way too much, you need to hear this story. Now, I want to hear from you, too. Have you ever dealt with shady tactics like you're about to hear from a dealer or a manufacturer? How did it turn out for you? Drop your story in the comments below and share this video far and wide. People really need to see what's going on out there. And if you'd like to join me on a future YouTube video to share your story, my number's on the screen as well as my email address. Remember, the more we can shine the light of truth on a bad situation, the more we can help others avoid these awful nightmare experiences. So, Greg, you have kind of an unusual situation. I get a lot of phone calls from people that have issues with their dealer and or manufacturer, but yours has a different kind of a wrinkle to it. Can you start at the beginning? I'm going to try to not interrupt and tell your story in just a few minutes, hit the high points, and then I'm sure, a lot of questions for you.
Okay. My wife and I went to the RV show at Dallas Market Hall on February 28th. Mainly to look at floor plans. Went through the whole show. Didn't see really anything we liked till we got on the last row. And we got there and she saw a J-flat bungalow. We went in and looked at it and she fell in love with it. We've been looking for something, a destination trailer to put on my uncle's land, so we could get the family down there, my son and daughter-in-law, and now our granddaughter, to get them involved with us down there. So we wanted something a little nicer, and we looked at it and started talking to them and negotiated a deal. In those negotiations, on their little run sheet, there was people coming in and out of the trailer. We were sitting in the trailer negotiating as people were coming in and out to see the trailer. This couple came in that, let's just say, didn't behave properly. And both of them get in the shower and start jumping up and down and say, we don't think we can fit in the shower. And we look at the sales lady and the salesman. I have both their names. I have one of them's phone number. She will not return my call. And said, we will not take this trailer. We do not want the demo unit. We want a new unit. And they said, that's no problem. There's one there. No problem at all. So we go and get all that taken care of. We had it on a run sheet, and I negotiated that. I negotiated any kind of warranty work. They furnished a mobile tech. And if it had to go back to the dealership, delivery was free. And the initial delivery was free. Mm-hmm. I negotiated those three things. It was on the run sheet. Done and done. So then we go to Camping World, the Mesquite location, and sign the paperwork. We start signing the paperwork, and something's just off. So they call us and say, the paperwork's not right. We need you to come back. And in that paperwork, we originally was going to do the extended warranty until they started running the numbers, and the numbers weren't what was told, and we ended up getting that back. But we also did the clear coat and interior finish, Scotch Guard, if you will, mm-hmm. on the unit. So we negotiate that, get all that done, sign the paperwork. We get home, they call us, something's wrong with the paperwork, we need you to come back. Well, it was too late in the afternoon. We said, we'll come back tomorrow. Went back the next day, signed the paperwork. They said, just bring your old paperwork in and we'll dispose of it with ours and do the new one. And it wasn't.
Hang on. Okay. So This is a Camping World location. You said in Mesquite, Texas, just outside of Dallas.
Yes.
You had a deal, a firm, solid, what you thought was an inked deal at the RV show, until
Yes.
you didn't, because they said something didn't work out right or the numbers didn't look right. And then,
It started out, the bank they selected kicked it back and said, we do not finance destination trailers. They
okay,
said, oh, we made a mistake. Um, so we went back and signed another one. And then there was, I don't remember, and I'm sorry, but I mean, we've been going through this for a year, but there was some reason we had to go back again. And in that meantime, when we took our paperwork, I think that run sheet with our negotiations that I told you about the mobile tech, the delivery, and the will not get the demo unit,
mm-hmm,
I think that ended up in their paperwork that has mysteriously disappeared.
that they disposed of. That's what you're alleging.
Um, well, let's just say when we found out, well, the delivery came. The delivery guy didn't follow any of the instructions I had. I told him to come in from the west side of the property. Um, because of the way the road's set up, it dips down, and if he comes in from the east, it's going to drag. He said he would call me when he got close. He didn't. He shows up at the gate, comes in from the east side, and drags it and pulls one of the jacks off of the back of the trailer. So then he pulls in, and I tell him, go right over here. This is a hard road. It was wet. This is a hard road. You'll be fine. He didn't listen to me. He pulled into the field and sunk, and then just proceeded to spin and throw mud all over our trailer, and finally just gave up, unhooked, and left. Didn't put it where it was supposed to go. So
So
luckily,
okay, so again, I've got to interrupt. I want to just get a little bit clearer picture. So far, you were up here emotionally. You thought you had a deal,
mm-hmm,
and you were feeling uneasy because there were some changes, and we got to come back in. And then all of a sudden, things changed after you had a solid deal with Camping World. But it
correct.
sounds like you acquiesced. You just gave in essentially. You know, these are honest people. It's Camping World, for crying out loud. And but then it began to get worse. So you've got a now damaged, brand new destination trailer on your property. What's wrong with the trailer besides it's got some damage ripped off the jack on the back end?
Well, once we finally got it set in place, hooked everything up, and used it for, I'm going to say, a month and a half. We go there on the weekends and used it a couple times, drained the black water, drained the gray water, went back again, and a couple times, especially when my wife is there, those tanks fill up a little quicker than if it's just me. So we drained them again, and then we went back another time, and we kept smelling something in the bathroom. And she goes in the bathroom, gets to looking, and sewage is coming up through the shower. And we call them. They say, we can't get anybody here. And I said, this is putting a stench in this trailer that's not going to come out. You got to get someone here. So they send someone out. They fool with it. It didn't work right. They came out again and fooled with it. And something, when they pulled up, the caps on both tanks were off. I didn't think anything about it. I thought they might have fallen off going down the road. But something got lodged in there, or someone in the dealer, someone at the dealership, a kid or whatever, put something in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
They tried to tell me it was the stopper for a new hose that comes on the end of the sewer hoses, but it wasn't a new hose. I'd used it on my other trailer, took it off and put it on that trailer. So they're full of it there. But that is what it looked like, but it was up in that sewer tank, and I had drained it twice and it worked fine, and then it quit draining.
Okay.
So
but then you had a roof leak, apparently, a roof leak that was a major roof leak. And tell me about that and what you learned that it was.
Okay, it wasn't a roof leak. It was the air conditioning was installed according to the Camping World text, was installed improperly from the factory. So they went in and did some stuff. What it did was condensate really, really bad and left about a 3-foot diameter wet spot on the loft of our destination trailer. It's got the upstairs loft, and that unit's up there. And we just happened to go up there, and it was soaking wet. So they told us that it was done wrong from the factory, and I said, then you need to call the factory and hold them responsible. Not only am I disappointed in Camping World, I'm disappointed in Jayco. I have got zero support from Jayco. I told them they said they brought in a humidifier and checked for mold and did all that. I said, that's not acceptable. You're going to pull that carpet up and see if damage was done to that floor. So they cut my carpet, and I told them I wanted video and pictures if I couldn't be there. And they took pictures and said they took video. Never got the video, and the pictures, they lifted up the carpet about that high and took pictures where they cut the carpet. I have those pictures. And I said, I want to see the video. That's not acceptable. And then they said, well, we'll have to have the seamstress. We weren't happy with how they seamed it back. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, they sewed it back. I said, I didn't buy a trailer with a cut in it. I said, you're going to replace that carpet. So when they replaced the carpet, I went out there and videoed it myself, and there was a big water stain, I'm going to say 3 foot in diameter, on the carpet. And I told them, y'all need to make Jayco replace this floor. They said they called Jayco, and Jayco refused. Also, in the meantime, in this 5 months, the trailer was there. They finally came back and got it after the air conditioning problems. They had it 5 months. Within a day or two of 5 months, they kept calling me, telling me it was ready. I walked through there with the service manager at Camping World Mesquite and showed him every problem. And they put the blue painter's tape on everything we had listed, some of it cosmetic, and then the air conditioning and all that. They tell me it's done, so I sneak up there unannounced and tell them I want to see my paperwork. And in doing so, they said, well, we can show you we've got an SD you can look at. And I said, no, I want to see the actual I want you to get my folder and show me the paperwork to see if I could find that run sheet. Because now they're denying that our negotiations couldn't take the demo trailer, all that. And now they're starting to go back. They've honored the mobile tech all this time. He came out 3 or 4 times, and now they're starting to deny that.
Okay, hang on. I've got another question.
Okay.
When you purchased the trailer, part of the deal was that you did not want that demo unit, but it turns out the one that the people were jumping up and down, the couple that, hey, we can't take a shower together, the one that you don't want that trailer, they lied about that. They substituted it with, you did get that trailer instead of substituting it, but then they denied it. And then now they have the paperwork because they disposed of it.
Correct. And when they came to get the trailer, a different driver came. I said, I do not want the driver that came the other time. And they sent out a driver. He's very good. This guy was very professional, but he doesn't work for Camping World. He's a subcontractor. He come out, and I was just going over everything with him and telling him the deal because he's an RV guy too. And I told him about that not wanting the demo unit. And he goes, what do you mean you didn't want the demo unit? I said, they told me I wouldn't get the demo unit. He said, well, you did. And there's a sticker on the front of my trailer that shows the parking space. It was that trailer that was at the market hall. He showed me that. He said, I delivered these trailers. He said, that tells me where to park that trailer. And they left that sticker on, which goes back to, I questioned if they did that seal or not. The trailer looked terrible. It had those streaks, the dark streaks that metal gets when it gets dirty or it's aged. Yeah. It had that on it. And I looked at it and I go, guys, there's no way y'all clean this trailer and put this sealing on it. Oh, we did. Well, after pressuring them 3 times, they finally admitted they didn't do it.
Okay, so let's fast forward to today, the end of January 2025. It's been
Okay.
almost a year. It sounds like you were excited, not so much, not so much, and then you're almost ready to throw in the towel. But then all of a sudden, Camping World came back and said, "Hey, Mr. Greg, I don't want to use your last name. We've got an offer for you. Talk to us about that. You don't have to disclose the terms of it, except that it came with something."
They refunded us the extended warranty, which was, they went nuts on that. That happened previous. Then we just got the check for this treatment they were supposed to have done. And I forget the amount, but they sent us a check on that. And now they're basically offering me the 5 months payments we had made, because we're paying it off faster than what the payments are. We're paying more. And we told them we're sitting here paying for this trailer and we don't even have it. So they came back with a figure that's, to me, unacceptable, low. We also told them about this, and originally they told us to go pick out a trailer and then swap us. Even money. The lady that we're dealing with at Camping World, I believe it's in Colorado, but I'm not sure. She told us to go pick one out, so we picked one out. It was up in Denton or Sherman, I can't remember. She said, "I'm going to have them go look at it and make sure it's okay." And we said, "Okay." And she called back and said, "No, that trailer's in terrible shape." Now, these are brand new trailers. How are they in terrible shape? So we pick another one, same thing. We pick a third one, same thing. And then I lost it. Said, "Why don't you just give me my money back? I don't even like dealing with y'all." And that's when they started playing hardball.
Okay, but they were going to give you money, or they still, I assume, as of the recording of this video, they still want you to settle, and they want to give you some money to make you go away, but you have to shut up, and with a non-disclosure agreement.
Correct. And I told them, as bad as we've been treated, I don't shut up very good. I drive by that Camping World site daily, and I will have a sign on the back of my truck that navigates people to the Camping World Sucks Facebook page. There is a reason that there's, 43,000 members?
Yeah.
There's a reason there's that many people on that site. Some of them, and I'm going to be honest, some of them probably don't have a legitimate gripe. A burned out light bulb's one thing.
But your situation sounds a whole lot worse. So who do you think is to blame here? If you had to just kind of, boil it down, who is to blame? Where do you place the blame? And then what do you want?
Well, the blame is one, I'm very disappointed in Jacob. Jacob could care less about our problems. But Camping World, I've dealt with two people at Camping World that have both been impossible. Been in plenty of arguments with them, and one of them, it's a male. I told him about all these issues, and he said, "Well, these travel trailers aren't perfect. They come this way and they have problems." And I said, "If you're saying that's acceptable, you're part of the problem. It's not acceptable. That stuff should be checked out before they receive it on their lot, in my opinion."
Okay, and that's when you called me. You called me, left me a voicemail, and because they wanted you to sign the NDA, and you didn't want to do it necessarily, you said it wasn't that much money. I mean, it was a lot of money, but you didn't want to box yourself in. So what I did was I sent your voicemail and some information to the Burdge Law Firm, my friends up in Ohio that handle RV limit law cases around the country. And I said, "Would you like to come on and talk with this gentleman?" And they said, "No." They said, "Why don't you do an interview, and which we're doing now, and then send it to them, and then they're going to review this interview and then give their comments from the legal side, legal perspective. You may or may not like what they have to say, but as I said, we're going to send that to them and see how it pans out." But where are you going now? I mean, are you kind of in limbo? Are they pushing you? And do you have everything in writing? How much is in writing?
I've kept every email, every conversation, all that. And I told them, and I think what I'm going to do is have an outside source come in and inspect this trailer because I'm still not happy with the air conditioner. It's not moving air. We were down there the other day, and it was it's Texas, it was December and in the 80s. And we had, in fact, I think it was like 78, and we had the trailer set at 70. And my trailer is under a cover. I built a cover to protect the roof, and I've done everything I can to make this thing last a long time. And the trailer would not cool. And I called the service manager. I said, this thing's still not cooling. And he went with the old, I'm an electrician by trade, so I know some about air conditioning, plumbing. It's only supposed to blow 20 degrees cooler than the outside temperature. That's all it can do within reason. Mm-hmm. And I understand that. It's cold air is coming out. It's the amount of cold air. There's no airflow. And I've told him that multiple times. I said, if there was airflow, it would probably be cooling the trailer. So that's where we sit right now. I said, nope, I'm probably going to hire an independent to come out and look at it. And if he determines what I'm saying is accurate, which I put my hand, you put your hand up to that vent and barely feel any air. Usually those things move air pretty good.
Okay, what do you, I want to know what you wish you would have done differently. And I want to know what advice you have for other people. So let's start out with if you could do it again, what would you do? And the reason I'm asking you this, Greg, is I think there are so many people that are in your position, maybe a lot of them today, but over the years, these tricks, these tactics have been used on people, and they have just been slapped around, metaphorically speaking, by the industry and manufacturers and just made to go away. And I think it's time for people to talk about it. So
I have told my wife my goal, if I can save 3 people from having to go through what we have gone through, I'll give up the settlement. If they see this interview and say, we're not giving you a dime, you did this, but my goal, I have found so much out about Camping World. In hindsight, I wish I would have known then what I know now about Camping World, and I'd have never even entertained them.
But what would you have done? I mean, now that you know about Camping World, let's say you said, because you tell me that you've got problems with Jayco, serious issues with Jayco, and Camping World isn't the only dealer that sells Jayco.
Correct.
So if you were to if you were to find that same beautiful bungalow that you bought, what would you do differently this time than you did last time or didn't do?
I would have done a little more homework, research on the different brands, and instead of just walking in and looking at it and going, that's the one, I would have said, okay, let's look at now we know the floor plan. Let's look at and I can't remember, there's 3 or 4 others that are really close in the same floor plan. I would have looked into that a little better, and I would have researched it. But this is the first brand new travel trailer I've bought. I've bought motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, boats, countless vehicles, and this has been the worst experience I've ever had with any of that. And
what about an inspection? What about your final walkthrough? Are you happy with how you did the final walkthrough?
No, it's they plug it up right there. One thing, it was raining when we did the final walkthrough. That's one reason it was so hard to tell the finish wasn't done. But I questioned them. How can you do the finish when it's raining out here? Because they don't have a undercover place to do it. Mm-hmm. It was just out in the open. So how did you do the finish? It's been raining in the 2 days we've been dealing here. We did it, Mr. Grove. We did it. They didn't do it. And they finally admitted that, but I had to press them 3 different times. Now, and then something else that happened was, after all this happened, we got the paperwork straight and the delivery done. They went into that Camping World and cleaned house. All the all the sales managers, sales staff, everybody supposedly are gone, and there's new people in.
Really?
They told me the trailer was something I didn't finish. When they told me the trailer was ready, and I showed up there as a surprise and tried to get that paperwork, see if I could find it.
Yeah.
The general manager of Mesquite Camping World came out. They scrambled around. It took longer than I thought to get the file. I wonder why. And he come out with it. We looked at it, and he said, "Well, your trailer's ready. You want to go look at it?" Yeah, we might as well. I'm here. And we walked out there, and the only thing that had been addressed was the air conditioner. Everything else was still. There were some spots where glue was all over the wallpaper peeling. The screen door fell off. There was a number of what I consider smaller items, cosmetic. And I just told him, I said, y'all's quality control is terrible. The blue painter's tape was still everywhere.
Okay.
The couch, the pull-out couch had a big hole in it.
How much do you think? I know you're not an appraiser, but all RVs depreciate. How much do you think that you realistically, if you had to sell it now, that you've lost from normal depreciation? I mean, and what was the MSRP? I don't need to know the actual price that you paid, but what was the MSRP?
Well, we got it on a show special.
Right.
And I want to say the sticker on it was in the 80s.
Okay.
And then if I'm not mistaken, we got somewhere down around 68, 69 for the show special.
So if you had to sell it today, what do you think the trailer would sell for if somebody would buy it? Honestly, well, you find somebody that almost is another Greg that walks in and go, boy, that's the one.
We saw that unit used, and I want to say it was in the upper 50s, Alan, but I can't remember exactly. It's been a little while. So I'm going to say it's lost 20 grand.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap this up, but my thoughts. One, I'm going to send this to Ron Burdge and Beth Wells, the Burdge Wells law firm, so they can look at this and give us some feedback. Number two is you live in the state of Texas, as I do, and I believe it's $20,000 is the maximum amount that you can sue in small claims court, up to $20,000. I've been to small claims court, and none of it's fun, but it's a whole lot more fun than it is having to hire a lawyer and a law firm that's just going to drag things out.
Right.
One thing you might want to look at is small claims court in Texas. What does it take? It sounds like you've got lots of documentation. You've got to be able to tell your story in just a few short minutes. Most of the time, I believe that a dealer or a manufacturer is not going to send an attorney down from their home office to try to defend their position and say, well, that's normal wear and tear. Now, they might. But often, I think that these manufacturers and dealers just say, well, write him a check. And so even if they do send their, Top Gun lawyers down to defend themselves against your allegations, do you have the offer that they've made in writing? Have they given that to you?
Yeah.
They have. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great starting point. I'm telling you, I would look at small claims court. You can get in and out reasonably fast. You don't have to hire a lawyer if you can represent yourself. I just think that that's maybe something you ought to look at. In addition, we're going to find out what Ron Burdge and Beth Wells have to say. So do you have any questions for me or anything else that you think people would like to hear or need to hear?
Just look into every aspect from the dealer to the reviews of the manufacturer. Cover all your bases. Ask, look on, there's all kinds of sites for, if you're looking at a Airstream, there's a Facebook page and there is sites with Airstreams that can tell you about issues.
Mm-hmm.
This Camping World, I found Camping World Sucks on Facebook after the fact, but I am sure glad I did.
Yeah.
because I'm doing everything I can. And you would be amazed at the people that say, I'm looking at this trailer at Camping World. What can you tell me? And countless people run, run, run.
Right.
Their reputation's awful. Um, from
How do
top
you think they've been able to survive and profit and continue to make the kind of money they allege to be making when they do these kinds of things to customers like you?
I think it's more. I think it's so many people like me that find out the hard way. It's too late, and they've already in them. I think the markup on these things is probably outrageous. And then all the add-ons that they sucked us into. Now we got the extended warranty refunded because they messed up the amount, uh, and then that treatment we got that back. But they do so many adders and so many things. Oh, the transport, they put all these adders on there,
Mhm.
and it's all just padding his pockets.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
but I
Marcus Colonus is a very wealthy man, and I think that much of it, he is definitely a smart guy, an honest guy. I have my doubts, but he has certainly figured out how to tap into people that don't know any
Yes,
better, that are trusting good people that are spending hard-earned money to buy something that just, well, you're expecting too much.
yep. The days of a handshake and a taking people for their word is gone, and I hate saying that, but it's the truth. Especially with someone like him. And you're exactly right. I'm not saying he's not a smart man, but that's about all I'm going to say about him.
All right. Well, thank you so much for visiting with me, and do check in if you would, Greg, with the small claims court. Find out what it takes.
I
Maybe
will.
you,
I have a friend that's an attorney that's been helping me with it, and he said that I can file deceptive trade and all that, and this has really been hard on my wife. She was so excited about this. It's really been hard on her. And she finally just got to the point and said, Greg, I just want my trailer. Let's just get it back. And I said, that's fine. I said, but I am not signing this settlement, which she honestly at first was wanting me to. And I finally told her, I'm not doing it. If I can, this money they've offered me, if I lose it and if I can make 200 people steer away from Camping World, I'll do it.
Greg, your wife is a perfect example, in my opinion, of what Camping World and other bad dealers want to do. They want to wear you out.
Absolutely.
Make you so frustrated that you just, throw up your hands and say, okay, I quit. Go ahead. I'll take my lumps. And then they move on down to the road to the next one. And
Yeah,
so,
and I told them I'm stubborn. I don't quit. I will do everything in my power. I will have signs made. I've already talked to people about making the signs. It's ready to go. I just didn't do it until I found out what this agreement was. Uh, but I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure people know. At least I can say I tried to save people from making the same mistake I made.
all right, one final thing. You mentioned it earlier, the Facebook group called Camping World Sucks. Those
Mm-hmm.
three words. Camping World Sucks. If you
And
know
they do.
anybody that is going to buy an RV, that's thinking about buying an RV from those folks under the big American flag, please have them go and check out this Facebook group. If they
Yes.
want to buy from Camping World, that's fine. But read the reviews, read them. If I believe this, if you are in love with an RV and you really think Camping World is the place to do it, you've done your homework and that's what your assumption is so far, check out the Facebook group Camping World Sucks. And if after you go through that Facebook group, if you still think that it's a good deal, buy it from Camping World, but be responsible for it. Don't come back and go, well, I can't believe those people did it to me too.
That's right. You were warned.
Greg's story is a prime example of what so many RVers face: broken promises, shady tactics, and a total lack of accountability. It's infuriating, and I say it's got to stop. I believe that dealers like Camping World rely on on confusing people, on wearing good people down until they throw in the proverbial towel, but we don't have to let them win. We don't. So here's what I need from you. If you've had a similar kind of experience, let me hear from you. Let's do a video together. Let's expose the bad actors out there for who they really are. And if you know someone who is thinking of buying an RV, share this video with them. Let them hear Greg's story and do their own research before stepping into a dealership, any dealership. And if you'd like to know the RV dealers that I trust, links to them are in the description down below. I'm telling you, together we can make a difference by spreading the word and holding these companies accountable. Thanks for watching. Let me hear from you. And as always, be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners at home.